It's 7 o'clock. I'm Dermot Monahan. This is Sky News Tonight, live from Downing Street, where in a little over a week, a new Prime Minister will be moving into the building behind me.
I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party.
Liz Truss steps down, becoming the shortest-serving Prime Minister in British history after just 6 weeks in office.
It will be possible to conduct a ballot and conclude a leadership election by Friday the 28th of October. So we should have a new leader.
The chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady, fires the starting gun on the sprint to become her successor. Among the hopefuls, her predecessor, Boris Johnson, is also expected to stand, but later say it's time to give the people a say.
There should be a general election. We can't just allow the Tory party to keep putting up the next candidate in the middle of this chaos.
A very good evening from Downing Street on yet another remarkable day. After just 44 days as Prime Minister, Liz Truss has resigned, the shortest premiership in British history. A visit this morning by the chairman of the powerful 1922 committee was then followed by a 90-second resignation speech. The Prime Minister claimed that given the situation, she could not deliver on her mandate. And therefore, in just over a week's time, the building behind me will have a new residence. Coming up, we'll tell you the rules that have been announced to find that person, see who the hopefuls are, and look back on Liz Truss's rise and fall. But first, here's our political editor, Beth Rigby.
It is over. The shortest-serving Prime Minister stepping down.
I came into office at a time of great economic and international instability. Families and businesses were worried about how to pay their bills. Putin's illegal war in Ukraine threatens the security of our whole continent, and our country has been held back for too long by low economic growth. I was elected by the Conservative Party with a mandate to change this.
A mandate which slipped away after just 6 weeks.
I recognise, though, given the situation, I cannot deliver the mandate on which I was elected by the Conservative Party. I have therefore spoken to His Majesty the King to notify him that I am resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. This morning I met the chairman of the 1922 committee, Sir Graham Brady. We've agreed that there will be a leadership election to be completed within the next week. I will remain as Prime Minister until a successor has been chosen. Thank you.
Turning her back on an embattled premiership, only her husband by her side. This a very lonely way to leave. Sir Graham Brady, the man charged with the next steps.
Here, please, Sir Graham. Here, please, Sir Graham.
Setting out the direction of the party and country too.
I have spoken to the party chairman, Jake Berry, and he has confirmed that it will be possible to conduct a ballot and conclude a leadership election by Friday the 28th of October. So we should have a new leader in place before the fiscal statement, which will take place on the 31st.
A new leadership contest, the second in 4 months, conducted at breakneck speed. This time next week, we'll have a new PM. For the press and the public too, it's bewildering. How disappointed are you in this? The public must be looking at this thinking, what on earth is going on? This is the governing party.
Absolutely, and I think we are deeply conscious of the imperative in the national interest of resolving this clearly and quickly.
By early evening, the detail coming to light. Conservative MPs have to decide fast.
Good afternoon again. Just to confirm, I've met with the board of the Conservative Party and the executive of the 1922 committee. The process for the parliamentary stages of the contest will begin now. Nominations are now open. Will close at 2 o'clock on Monday. Candidates will be expected to have at least 100 colleagues nominating them.
A decision to whittle the field back dramatically. If only one MP hits the threshold, we'll know the new PM by Monday. This will be quick, but for Labour it's not enough. It's demanding a general election. Seki, you're calling for a general election, but at a moment of acute instability, there has been market instability, there's a cost of living crisis. The Tories are going to replace the Prime Minister within a week, and the general election is going to take weeks and weeks and weeks. Can you see that that might not be practical right now?
But the risk to the country is carrying on with this utter chaos. So you've got this real choice, utter chaos with the Conservatives or stability under a Labour government. So the risk is not a general election. The risk is carrying on with this utter chaos. They've damaged the economy very badly in the last few weeks. This damage has been done.
The Conservative Party's decided we need a new Prime Minister. Liz Truss has been forced to resign after just 44 days in office. This whole sorry affair has been a dark, dark chapter for the Tories. MPs are now trying to turn the corner. There will be a new Prime Minister next week. But the party is having, in the words of one minister, a collective breakdown. And after two lots of vicious bloodletting, first around Boris Johnson and now around Liz Truss, you have to ask yourself whether a new leader can stop the rot. The sun's setting on a deeply unsettling day in Westminster. In these tumultuous times, a nation awaiting leadership. Beth Rigby, Sky News, Westminster.
Well, of course, just last month, Liz Truss entered number 10 after a leadership campaign that lasted 8 weeks. She was finally installed as leader and Prime Minister after about 81,000 Tory members voted for her. Now, this time round, that process is being distilled down to just 1 week. Let's take a look at how that is proposed to work. So Sir Graham Brady, the chair of the 1922, announced that nominations for the race to be the next Prime Minister are now open. They will close at 2 p.m. on Monday. That's for MPs. Candidates will need at least 100 nominations from Conservative MPs to meet the threshold. If there is more than one candidate that meets those requirements, an online vote for Conservative Party members will then open. And all stages, they say, of the leadership election are intended to be concluded by next Friday, the 28th of October. Now, in terms of who may stand, well, currently Rishi Sunak is the bookmakers' favourite to take over, of course, the defeated candidate last time round, followed by Penny Mordaunt. Then, well, get this, Boris Johnson appears to be the third most popular, the former Prime Minister. Then the Defence Secretary, Ben Wallace. Kemi Badenoch could also be running, as well, perhaps, as the Foreign Secretary, James Cleverly, and maybe the just-resigned Home Secretary, Suella Braverman. Michael Gove, Tom Tugendhat and Jeremy Hunt are amongst those unlikely to take part after ruling themselves out of the race. Our Deputy Political Editor, Sam Coates, reports.
Just 111 days ago, Boris Johnson came out of the door of number 10 and told the nation that he was stepping down. It was the end of a long struggle to stay in office, but for him, it was never over. A hint in his last speech to the Commons that he would be back.
I want to thank everybody here and hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.
The former Prime Minister now looms over the race to be the next PM. This, a party in desperate need of a saviour. Some see the man who secured what is still a 71-seat majority as the only hope.
What we need now, we need someone who can come in, we need someone who can bring people together, somebody who actually has got that mandate, so a mandate from the people at the last general election, a mandate from party members, and somebody actually who can get this party going again, get us winning elections again. The only person that I think that ticks all those boxes is Boris Johnson.
But the issues that nearly forced him out of office and nearly split his party in two still remain. The Truss premiership too short to allow them to fully heal.
I was part of Team Boris. I was disappointed to see him go, but I think it's probably too soon. I think that's probably wishful thinking from some of my colleagues on that front.
Why do you say it's too soon?
I just think it's too soon. I was there supporting him to the very end, but he did lose the confidence of the majority of our colleagues. I thought that was wrong, but you have to respect that.
This man believes he's the one to fix the crisis.
Will you be stepping up to the plate?
No answer to that question this morning. His supporters suggest it could come soon, however. MP's favourite last time round, but he made many enemies along the way.
What we need to do is have a broad group of people supporting you, a broad group of people coming into government, bringing the party together. And I think Rishi, who got support from right across the country, got the most MP support last time, is the person to do that now, because we have to have that unity and also competence and economic leadership right at the top.
Penny Mordaunt faced down the opposition on Liz Truss's behalf earlier this week. For many, it looked like an audition for the top job. Her allies say she's the only one to unite a fractured party.
I think she has a great set of qualities. She has lots of ministerial experience. I think she comes across very well, and I think she resonates with people. And right now, when we are facing a couple of international crises, both in energy but also in the Ukraine war, having somebody with stature, with government experience, and who can resonate with people, I think is really important.
Boris Johnson is doing what he always does, dominating the conversation, pushing everyone else to the margins. Now, today's Tory leadership rules look awfully like an attempt to stop him returning to high office, but he's smashed through obstacles before, and that's why some Tory MPs want to keep him away from the Tory membership, where he remains a firm favourite.
Plenty of others eyeing a run, but new Chancellor Jeremy Hunt says he's staying out. For the rest, a bruising few days ahead. It could be over sooner than next Friday if contenders drop out and deny the members a vote. But warnings this would damage the party further.
If members of Parliament rob the membership of their constitutional right by our rules to choose who is the leader of the party, that will probably cause a lot of upset. It'll probably mean very few of us have any activists come the next general election, and the party will fall into a very, very low place.
He divided his party as Prime Minister. Some think he can now unite the party again. Will enough MPs try and stop Boris Johnson this time? Sam Coates, Sky News, Westminster.